Hi everyone, today I'm going to use a magic circle. Not everybody's favourite piece of kit. You might not have one that's accessible for you. Not a lot you can do without one. These exercises are exercises that everybody knows, but they're just adding a bit of variety using a magic circle. I can't think of any way of substituting a magic circle if you don't have one. However, we are, if you're local to Dumfries, hiring out our equipment at the moment that we have in the studio, so I still have a few circles to go. As I say, not everybody's favourite, so not everybody wants one. They're more after a ball or a roller. Anyway, the magic circle is a great piece of kit. It helps work every part of the body. You can work your legs, your arms, your shoulders, your core, your back, and you can even stretch with it. It makes a great aid for stretching. So we're going to start lying on your back. So if you lie on your back into your base position, hold the circle straight up in front, squeezing it gently with the heel of your hands. Fingertips are pointing up to the ceiling. Press your shoulders down into the floor and maintain neutral, and gently squeeze the circle as firmly as you can and then release. And again, breathe out, squeeze and release. And squeeze and release and squeeze and release. Now pop the circle between your knees so it's vertical, hands to your hips. Now as you squeeze the circle, it's just a little gentle squeeze, try not to squeeze your bum. Lift your pelvic floor, pull your navel into your spine and then release. And again, breathe out, squeeze and release, and breathe out, breathe in, and again 4 and 5. Still keeping the body as still as you can, so place your hands onto the pelvis to make sure it's not moving. This time we're going to pulse the circle between your knees, so we're going to pulse for 10, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Move the circle down a little so it comes between your inner thighs. Now this is mainly the reason why people don't like the magic circle. It's because it can be a little bit tender in your inner thighs. If it's too sore or it bruises you, then obviously don't do this bit. Put the circle back between your knees. We're going to do the same thing. Keep neutral, squeeze, use your pelvic floor and squeeze the circle with your inner thighs. And release, and again squeeze and release and squeeze and release. Try not to squeeze your bum, let it all come from your core and your inner thighs. So number 4, can really feel that working, and 5. Not in a bad way, just feeling that all these muscles are having to contract. Now let's pulse it, same as you did with your knees, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then take it off. Now pop your legs inside the circle and bring it up each side of your thighs. Now this exercise is a really good exercise for anyone who has SI joint problems, which is your sacroiliac joint. Again, hands onto the hips, feet flat on the floor, and press out against the circle this time. And release. And again, press out. And release. Push out. And release. And again, push out. Hold. Count to 10 slowly. So 1, 2, 3. Keep pushing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Excellent. Take the legs out, stretch them out, give them a bit of a rub if necessary. Well done. Okay, so taking the circle back up in front, bring yourself back into base position. We're going to add a little abdominal curl this time. So light squeeze of the circle, curl up, circle comes towards your knees. So it's like you're looking in a mirror, and then down. So curl up and release. As you curl up, gently squeeze the circle with the heel of your hands. Be aware that your pelvis is trying to tilt. Try not to squeeze your bum, just use your core. So think ribs to hips, looking into the circle. Now let's make it a little bit harder. Take the circle over your head. Bring it up into the curl up to your knees. Head down, take the circle over your head. And again, squeeze. And down, nice and slowly, 5 times. Squeeze. And 4. And 5. Excellent. Okay, now bring the circle back up in front. Come into the curl up, hold, squeeze the circle, lift the legs, bringing the knees up underneath your circle, and do single leg stretch. So squeeze as you extend, release as it comes back in. For 9, 8, shoulders down, press the shoulder blade tips into the mat. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then relax it down. Pull the knees in using your circle. Lovely. Okay, let's roll over onto your tummy. Pop the circle just above your head. Hands either side of the circle. Legs parallel, head down. We're going to do a little bit of swimming. So breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze the circle, lift arms and legs, and breathe in lower. And lift, and lower, and lift, and lower. One more, and lower. Lovely. Whew. If you can manage to, bend your knees and pop the circle between your ankles. Head onto your hands. Head can be turned sideways or straight. I'm going to squeeze the circle and lift the knees. So you have your knees slightly turned out. So opening up the front of your pelvis. Breathe in. As you breathe out, squeeze the circle and lift your thighs and lower. Squeeze and lift and lower. Squeeze and lift and lower. 2 more. Squeeze and lift and lower. 1 more. And down and rest. Well done. Roll onto your side. This time, pop the circle between your ankles for side kick. Stretch out, your head can be propped up or you can use the arm as a pillow, your choice. Focus on the legs. So make sure when you look down you can see your toes, so you've hinged just slightly here. Squeeze the circle and lift. Hold, squeeze a little bit more and lower. Make sure the circle is actually above your ankle bones and not between your feet. And again, breathe out, squeeze. Keep squeezing. And lower. And again, squeeze. And lower. Squeeze. And lower. Excellent. Now this time squeeze, lift and hold. Keep the pressure on the circle so you're making your inner thighs work, your pelvic floor and your core. And if you can, see if you can balance. A hand to your thigh and then up towards the ceiling. And hold. Keep the pressure on the circle. Tummy in. And breathe. This is where you should feel it, as well as your inner thighs, possibly into your buttocks and into your core. You can feel it really working into here. And then relax it down. Excellent. Now we're going to roll the circle forward, swapping the feet round. Oh, if I can manage to do it today. That's it. And roll it back. Pop the bottom leg inside. and put the top leg inside. Stretch the legs out. So we've got the feet inside your circle. Again, make sure it's above the ankle bones. Legs are parallel. Push up into the circle with the top leg and lift both legs. Hold this time, but try and relax the bottom leg so it's the top leg that's doing the work, so that you put a little bit more work right into this hip. Works the glutes, lower back, as well as your core. Hold and breathe. Again, you might want to try the balance, in which case take your arm away. If you need to keep the hand on the floor, that's okay. Just concentrate on getting this bit to work. And lower it down. Lovely. Now we're going to move your legs forward. So lift, hinge at the hips and bring the legs forward. So you probably end up with the circle resting on the floor in front of your mat. If it's on the mat, you're not far enough forward with the legs. So you've hinged at the hips. So you've created that sort of movement. Hand on the floor. Now we're going to lift that top leg slightly higher than the circle, flex the foot, and then do your side kick. Float it forward, point, take it back as far as you can. So you're stretching into the hip flexors. Now you will be aware that the circle is a little bit higher than your hip, so your leg's going to be higher than normal when we do this. So it's a little bit more challenging. Try and keep your pelvis stacked the whole time. Keeping your circle under control with the bottom leg, especially when the leg goes back. One more time. Keep the leg there, bend your knee and do your quad stretch, still keeping the circle under control if you can. Optional extra, still keeping the circle where it is. If possible, reach down, grab hold of your heel and pause. Nice stretch that and release. Excellent. Okay, retrieve your circle. Let's do the same on the other side. So swap ends of the mat or roll over, unless you need to see the screen. Stretch the legs out, magic circles between your ankles. Feet slightly forward. Oh, just a little bit too far around on that one. Just correct myself. There we go. So squeeze in the circle. Use your tummy, pelvic floor and lift. And lower. So keep the pressure on the circle throughout. It's not the most comfortable of things, but it's not for long. Breathe out and squeeze. And lower. And again, squeeze. And lower. Now let's lift and hold. And squeeze. You can be propped up if you want to. To challenge the balance a little bit more, take your hand away, arm up. So if it is uncomfortable in your shoulder, remember just use your underarm. If you're very wobbly, come back down, using that arm as a pillow. Keep the pressure on the curved circle, keep squeezing. So feeling it go right up into your bum. Use your tummy, use your pelvic floor. And come down gently. Let's roll the circle forward, swap the legs round. Same thing, pressing out this time. Lift, push out with that top leg, relax the bottom leg. So again, just working right up into here. Little bit deeper this time. Hold, breathe. Nice deep breaths, use your tummy and use your pelvic floor. Hand can come to your thigh. If you want that extra challenge, come up onto your elbow and try to balance. A little bit more challenging, as you can see my legs are a wee bit wobbly. And come down gently. Now we're going to bring the legs forward. So lift, hinge at the hips. Bring them forward. Bring the top leg out. Again, the circle should end up on the floor in front of your mat, so you've hinged at the hips. Legs slightly higher than the circle, flex the foot, keep it parallel. Bring it forward, point, and take it back. Reach as far back behind you as you can. So you're opening up into the front of your pelvis. Forward and back. And 3. And 4. Try and keep the leg parallel. Be aware of whether it's lifting as it goes back or dropping as it comes forward. So imagine you're running it along the ledge of a windowsill. Last one. And then back. Reach back behind you, bend your knee, grab your foot and pull for the quad stretch. Make sure you're pulling that foot towards your buttock but getting the knee back behind your hip. This is where you should feel that stretch. Often see people try and do like this. It's not going to do anything for you. Optional extra, pop the hand down, grab hold of your heel and pull. Still keeping that circle under control underneath the bottom leg. And then relax. Excellent. Take your circle, roll onto your back into a knees to chest stretch. And then feet back down to the floor. We're going to pop the circle back between your inner thighs with a little gentle squeeze. Hands down by your sides. So holding the squeeze this time, tilt the pelvis to flatten your back into the mat. Squeeze your bum and peel up into bridge. Arms up and over. Burn pressure through both feet. Breathe out and roll your spine down slowly. Pressing your lower back into the mat. Roll back to neutral. And then bring your arms back and repeat. So tilt, squeeze, lift up. Arms up and over. And then roll down slowly. Arms back. Oh, it's wonderful. Lovely. If you have the circle too high up your inner thighs, you will hit tender points. So if you see where mine is, it's not quite on the knee bone, it's just actually above the knee bone. So it's more down towards the insertion points of my abductor muscles, my inner thighs. So not quite on the bone, and that way it's not quite so uncomfortable. But you still have to use your inner thighs and your core to squeeze the circle. And then come back down. Excellent. Change the position of your circle, so like we did at the beginning. Pop your legs inside and pop the feet down onto the mat. And repeat your bridge. This time the pressure's going out into the circle. And roll it down. So less inner thigh, less core, more buttock. And lower back. And repeat. So tilt, squeeze, lift up, arms over, and roll it down. Still getting that mobilization into your lumbar spine. Arms back, one more time. Pressing the hips to the ceiling, feet flat on the floor. I can't speak today. And roll it down slowly. And release. Excellent. Now we're going to stretch using your circle. Hold the circle with both hands, hook the circle onto your instep, and gently pull for your hamstring stretch. Shoulders relaxed, elbows soft, and hold. Now the circle is slightly weighted, obviously much heavier than a band. So be careful with the neck stretch. So for your inner thigh stretch, turn the leg out, take your free hand out to the side, have that arm right out to the side, so it's going to stop you wobbling, and then float the leg out. So don't let that weighted circle, let this hip lift. Try and keep your body in neutral but connected with the floor. Don't roll, so that you're getting that inner thigh stretch. Come back, swap hands, keep the legs straight and your hip down and gently pull the leg over. So this stretches that IT band down the side of the leg. Not the nicest of stretches. Then bend your knee and take it over to transfer the stretch into the back of the leg and into your bum, allowing the hip to lift and roll if it's comfortable. You'll see that clearer when I do the other side. And release, change feet. So hamstring stretch, gently pull. And breathe. So lots of nice deep breaths when you're stretching to get lots of oxygen into the muscles. So for your inner thigh stretch, turn the leg out, let go with the opposite hand, out to the side with arm and leg, pulling that leg towards the shoulder. Lovely stretch. Okay, bring it back, swap hands. Now this is what we're going to keep the hip down, leg as straight as you can. This is where you want to feel it. Gently pull the leg over. Now you probably find you won't go very far. I don't go very far. I can really feel that pulling here. If it does pull just up here, you probably need to bend the knee slightly just to take the pressure off and pull over a bit more. So I've still got it there, but I prefer to have it with the legs straight. And then bend your knee, pull the leg over. So you see how the hip is lifted off the floor? It's coming from the waist. I've transferred the stretch to here, into your buttock. And then release. Excellent. Knees to chest stretch to finish. And rest. Well done, everybody. See, the magic circle's not as bad as you thought it was. There's some sort of improver level exercises to do using the circle. Beginners, you could give it a go if you have one, or try and work up towards it. Personally, I like the circle. I think it's quite adaptable to lots of things. I'll do some more another day so you can see some harder options for those of you that are getting into the intermediate classes now. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.